clock strikes midnight, the road ahead stretches like an inky black ribbon, as dark and mysterious as the secrets it harbors. We find ourselves irresistibly into a world shrouded in enigma. These are not just ordinary highways, but intricate labyrinths that lead us the eerie, spine-chilling realm of the uncanny. Underneath the spectral glow of the moon that bathes the world in an otherworldly light and casts elongated shadows, the familiar transforms into the unfamiliar. The feeble headlights of our car can only pierce so far into the engulfing darkness, barely touching the surface of what lies ahead. The stage is meticulously set for unexpected horrors, a theater of the and terrifying. Tales spun from the threads of the night, designed to make your spine freeze and your heart pound like a frenzied drum. Fasten your seatbelts, tighten every buckle, for we are about to embark on a chilling, pulse-quickening journey down 3 haunted highways, each one more eerie and unsettling than the last. It was a road less traveled, and for good reason. Our story unfolds on a desolate highway, a place of isolation and desolation, under a sky draped in the cloak of darkness, shattered only by the spectral luminescence of the moon. This was a road where silence held its court unchallenged, except for the intermittent nocturnal chorus of an owl, or the soft symphony of wind sifting through the leaves of solitary trees lining the path. On this particular night, a lone driver, our protagonist named Jack, was navigating his way down this highway. Jack was a grounded individual, not one to be unsettled easily, but even his rational mind couldn't dismiss the uncanny sensation that clung to the crisp air. It was then he saw her, a singular figure standing with a ghost-like presence by the roadside. A hitchhiker, stranded and alone, her silhouette caught and magnified by the piercing beams of the car's headlights. Jack, a man with a genuine heart, decided to extend a helping hand and offer her a ride. She accepted, her relief evident, her audibly released sigh as she slid into the safety of the passenger seat. As they journeyed onwards, the woman retained her silence, her face concealed under the enigma of her hooded cloak. Jack tried initiating idle chatter, but his attempts at conversation only bounced off her wall of monosyllabic replies. The only sound punctuating their journey was the occasional thud of the car hitting an unexpected pothole, the noise resonating in the cavernous silence of the night. As the miles disappeared behind them, a feeling of disquiet started to slither over Jack. He stole a glance at his passenger, her face still veiled in the darkness. Suddenly, the car's interior light flickered on, casting an eerie glow onto the woman's face. The sight that greeted Jack froze his blood in his veins. Where he anticipated a face, there was only emptiness. No eyes, no nose, no mouth. Just a chilling abyss, a void that to consume light and radiate darkness. With his heart hammering in his chest, Jack jerked the car to the roadside, barely managing to bring the vehicle to a standstill. He whipped his head around to face his passenger, but she was gone. The passenger seat was vacant, save for the frosty chill that lingered in the air and a sense of impending doom that clung to the fabric. Jack was alone. Alone on a road less traveled, under the spectral glow of the moon. He had picked up a passenger, an unseen presence who had left behind nothing but a frigid memory and a bone-chilling tale. And so he drove on, the horrifying memory of his unseen passenger forever seared into his psyche. Sometimes the detours along our journey lead us to encounters we never anticipated. Our tale with a man, a driver of stoic practicality and stern countenance. As he journeyed through the depth of the moonless night, he was met with an unanticipated hindrance. A massive fallen tree, its gnarled roots sprawled across the road, blocking his path. Having no choice, the driver turned his vehicle onto a less familiar road, a path that was both foreign and draped in the veil of the dark night. This detour, as it unfurled, was far from the deserted path it initially appeared to be. Bizarre phenomena started to transpire. The previously dormant car radio sprang to life with an uncanny static hum, the grating noise echoing within the confines of the vehicle. His headlights, usually steady, flickered inconsistently, casting disorienting, contorted shadows that danced and spiraled across the narrow serpentine road. Deeper into the detour, the driver observed an apparition at the roadside. A woman draped in an ethereal white lace dress, her features hidden under a shroud of obscurity. He decelerated, cautiously scrutinizing her. She remained motionless, did not signal for assistance, merely stood there like a spectral statue in the darkness. A shiver crawled up his spine, prompting the driver to proceed on his journey. But as he navigated away, he was haunted by the sensation of unseen eyes tracking him. A fleeting glance at his rearview mirror revealed the woman, now inexplicably closer, her form bathed in the red glow of his taillights. A wave of dread swept over him. His heart pounded against his ribcage as he slammed onto the accelerator, desperate to create distance between himself and the spectral figure. Yet, regardless of his speed, the woman seemed to maintain pace, her silhouette a persistent specter in his mirror. Then, as abruptly as she materialized, the woman evaporated. The radio returned to its silent state and the headlights ceased their erratic behavior. The driver, rattled and disoriented, pressed on, the silent night echoing ominously in his ears. At dawn's first light, he exited the detour, his detour finally leading him back onto the familiar highway. Exhaled deeply, the terror of the night beginning to dissolve. But the experience had transformed him. The once pragmatic man now found himself grappling with the inexplicable. He mused over the woman, her existence, her narrative. Was she a stranded spirit caught in an endless detour, or perhaps a forewarning of a more sinister, lurking threat? Haunted by the spectral detour, he was left contemplating what lay beyond the roadblock that had forced him off his known path. Tunnels, by their very nature, are passages to the unknown. Our third tale tonight concerns a solitary journeyman, a man unafraid of the shadowy abyss or the horrific stories often concealed within it. He found himself on a remote and mysterious route, one renowned for a certain tunnel, a tunnel with a dark reputation. The locals, with dread lacing their whispers, spoke of it as a haunted passage. But our driver, a man of facts and science, dismissed such tales with a chuckle, considering them as mere figments of the local imagination. The night was as black as an ebon cloak as he neared the infamous tunnel. Its entrance stood, a monstrous gaping maw, seemingly yearning to consume his vehicle into its Stygian abyss. An icy chill permeated the air, its cold fingers reaching out to seep into his bones, bypassing the warm sanctuary of his vehicle's interior. As he breached the threshold of the tunnel, a heavy silence descended, a silence that was eerily overwhelming. The only sound was the steady purr of his car's engine, a lonely symphony in the weighty quietude. It appeared as if the darkness had devoured the world, leaving behind only blackness and him. Then, the silence was broken, a faint whisper, barely noticeable over the engine's mechanical lullaby. It seemed to originate from nowhere and yet everywhere, a phantom echo that caused his skin to tingle with unease. The whisper amplified, transforming into a plethora of voices, their incoherent words instilling a sense of bone-chilling terror. Our driver, a stalwart in the face of the surreal, tried to dismiss the creeping tendrils of fear wrapping around his spine. It was just the echo of his car's machinery, he reassured himself. Or perhaps the wind playing a mournful tune through the tunnel. But the whispers grew louder, more demanding. They seemed to engulf him, closing in like a cold, clammy hand around his heart. Suddenly the whispers ceased. A sense of looming dread filled the air, so potent he could almost taste the metallic tinge of fear. Then a scream shattered the silence, a sound so raw, so frightening, that it seemed to bounce off the very walls of the tunnel. Our driver, once a skeptic, felt a bone-rattling chill of pure terror. The rumors, it seemed, bore truth. His foot slammed onto the gas pedal, his hands white-knuckled, gripping the wheel as if it were his lifeline as he hurtled towards the supposed safety of the tunnel's end. The scream, like a spectral predator, pursued him, a haunting echo reverberating in his ears and frosting his soul. As he burst forth from the haunted tunnel, he could still hear the spectral remnants of the ghostly whispers, a chilling keepsake of his nightmarish journey. Just as every road has its genesis and culmination, our tales of terror also follow a similar pattern. We voyage together, hand in hand through a labyrinth of eerie tales, each a chilling anecdote serving as a stark reminder of the unforeseen terrors that can skulk in the shadows of our nocturnal travels. We have collectively been engulfed by the icy dread of the unseen passenger, an unseen entity, ghostly and inscrutable, that transformed a mundane commute into a bone-chilling encounter with the unfathomable. We've ventured into the tension-ridden suspense of the ghostly detour, where a spontaneous detour off the beaten path led to an unexpected rendezvous with an ethereal spectre. Also borne witness to the pulse-pounding shock of the haunted tunnel, a seemingly innocuous passage morphed into a menacing pathway haunted by phantoms. Each narrative, distinct in the terror it is inevitably woven together by a common thread. The gripping fear of the unexplored, the anxiety of what may be lurking in the dark corners, and the alarming element of surprise that jolts us from our sense of security. These narratives serve not only as spine-chilling reminders of the concealed hazards that may be lying in wait around the bend during our nighttime escapades, but also as testaments to our shared fascination with the macabre. As we draw the curtains on our shared journey, remember, it's not the destination that sends shivers down your spine, but the journey replete with unseen terrors. Until our paths cross again in the realm of the chilling and the unknown, drive safe and keep your eyes peeled on the road.